Very good evening, everybody. Meeting again in the session of Materia Medica. And today we're going to learn a very short remedy from Borix Materia Medica. It's very short, but it's very useful, very important in practice. I have used it n number of times in my practice because maximum rheumatic cases are there with me, and because of which it was possible for me I got the chance to utilize this remedy again and again. And remedy's name is Actea Spicata. It is a beanberry from Ranunculaceae family. There are two remedy species from the same genus. One is Actea racemosa, whose name is Simicifuga, and this is Actea spicata. Both of them are very important. Out of which Simicifuga or Actea racemosa is a very well proved remedy. Comparatively, Actea spicata doesn't have that much of proving. Generally, it is considered to be a one remedy which is organ remedy, like organ remedy. This remedy, if you understand the difference between Actea racemosa on one side and Actea spicata on one side, you're going to get one specific difference. Both of them are rheumatic remedies, rheumatoid arthritis remedies. But involvement of big joints with the long baileys of muscles is the characteristic of Simicifuga or Actea racemosa. And as compared, if you go with the Actea spicata, it has a wrist rheumatism or small joints rheumatism. Very specific remedy. That's why it is rheumatoid arthritis basically, because it involves rheumatoid arthritis. If you consider, is the disease which starts specifically in small joints and then it involves the big joints. It starts at periphery and it then gradually involves the big joints, and which is bilaterally symmetrical. Here, Actea spicata and Colophylum, these are two remedies. One must consider small joint rheumatism, and they are very useful in your practice when in acute states of the rheumatoid arthritis cases are there, involving the wrist, involving the finger joints, involving the interphalangeal joints or metacarpophalangeal joints. This is wonderful remedy. I have many cases of utilizing, many chances I have got to utilize this remedy in my practice. Cases, I will share directly the symptoms because all those cases I have selected only on the specific feature that it is the wrist rheumatism. Whenever patient comes involved, having involvement of both wrist with small joints of the hands, the first thought comes always in my mind regarding the Actea spicata. If it is shifting, going from one joints to another joints, then I used to think about the colophylum. So colophylum, you get more of a shifting nature. In case of Actea spicata, it is more of the specific joints. It is rheumatoid because there is an inflammation and swelling of the joints which is very characteristic, and it shows the acute inflammatory signs. The redness is there on the joints in case of rheumatoid arthritis and in case of Actea spicata. So that's why it's quite easy to catch that. Along with that, one important red line feature of the Actea spicata is there is a shortness of breath. Whenever the patient takes the breath, there is a severe shortness of breath on exposure to cold air. And even this cold air aggravates the rheumatism. Rheumatoid arthritis itself gets aggravated during cold weather. So, I used to use this remedy always in repeated doses. Generally, I used to utilize 30 or 200. More common if it is acute presentation, more commonly 200 in repeated doses. If it is chronic, then I used to start with 30 and then I resist to the 200 and thereafter 1 m. These are three potencies I used to use in practice. So, but in repeated doses, not single dose. It is a remedy which bears the repetition and it requires the repetition. So, it is a wonderful remedy, very useful in day-to-day homeopathic practice. There are other features also, but which are not so strong enough to catch the remedy. But if you read the red line symptoms right from the start of the Borix Matra Medica, you will get very typically this. There is one question: morning sickness and aggravation from the cold air, can both be the same? No, morning stiffness is morning stiffness. It is having a morning modality. Morning is a modality, time modality. It happens to be there in the morning. Morning stiffness generally happens in rheumatoid arthritis because here the stiffness is the characteristic of rheumatoid arthritis. Cold air is one important thing which affects the joints. If there is a effusion in the joints, cold weather always makes a stiffness over there and inflammation over there. Any joint, if it has been inflamed, generally common modality is always to be a cold weather aggravates. Very occasionally, if you get exact opposite modality, then it becomes a characteristic. So this is the remedy which we're going to read from Borix Mathematical, and we'll learn what Boric wants to say. It is a Benberry from Ranunculaceae family. See, the first sentence, I always tell you that read the first sentence of each remedy. And what it here the direct action of the remedy is defined. It should be fixed in your mind. See what he says. It is a rheumatic remedy. That's all. Here the whole core of the remedy is covered. It is the rheumatic remedy. If you open the Ledampal, just open the Ledampal, what he says. Affects especially the rheumatic diathesis, going through all changes from functional pain to altered secretions and deposits of the solid adi matter in the tissue. Rheumatic diathesis. See, every remedy, the first sentence, Boric has defined the specific action. And that you should catch for every remedy. I think there is another remedy next to it is Adonis vernalis. And what is the first sentence? It's a heart remedy, heart remedy. It has very specific action on heart, specifically rheumatic heart diseases. That is the sentence, I think so. Is it clear? Is it? Yes, it is there. So every remedy, whatever is explained by Boric in the first sentence, defines very specific action of this remedy. And in this remedy, he says it is a rheumatic remedy, especially of the small joints. See, small joints, he has written it in italics. Means it has very specific action on the small joints of hands as well as feet. Feet. Tearing, tingling, pain characterize it. Tearing, tingling, चुनचुन होणे. Tearing, फाटल्यासारखं वाटणं. These are very specific words, tearing, if you convert it into the Marathi. Wrist rheumatism. See, given in italics, wrist rheumatism. Very specific about the Actea Spicata. Pulsations over whole body, especially liver and renal region. Cardiovascular spasm. Pain worse from touch and motion. This is the characteristic modality of them. So patient, whenever you try to touch them, they never allows because it is getting aggravated. Second important thing, whenever they starts moving, it gets aggravated. Now the head symptoms. Yes, there are many head symptoms, but they are not so characteristic where you can catch the remedy. Head, fearful starts easily. The patient is fearful, that is mental symptom, not the head symptom. He is confused state of mind. Ebullition of blood to the head, excited by drinking coffee. Ebullition, more force, it is congestion of blood to the brain, head, excited by drinking coffee. Vertigo, what type of vertigo? Vertigo is associated with tearing headache. See the tearing characteristic. This is the generalities of the remedy. Tearing pain is the generality of the Actea spicata. Tearing headache, better in open air, throbbing in brain, pain from crown to the between the eyebrows. So it is right from the top to the eyebrows. This is the place where you get the headache over there. Hit in forehead, pain in left frontal eminence, as if bone were crushed. So left frontal eminence, there is a severe pain. as if someone is scraping the bone. Itching of the scalp alternating with heat. Nose is red at tip and fluent coryza. So there is acute coryza associated with redness of the nose, associated with the frontal headache, shows little bit affections of sinuses. With left frontal eminence, the pain is there as if someone scrapes it. That is the very important thing which he explains. Face, violent pain in upper jaw, running from the teeth through the malar bones to the temples, perspiration on face and head. There is very much severe sweating on the face as well as head. Stomach, see again the same pain, tearing pain, darting. Darting pains in epigastric region. Darting means it has two meanings. Darting means shifting as well as darting means pointed tip with the feathered back. That is darting also. That is another meaning of it. With vomiting, cramp-like pains in stomach and epigastric region with difficult breathing, sense of suffocation, sudden lassitude after the eating. Patient gets severe weakness. In one edition of Borix Materia Medica, in bracket he has written carcinoma of the stomach. That is, if I don't know from where it has been collected, but it has been written over there. If it is there, it indicates the depth of the remedy is up to the cancer. But it is not, I have not seen it in any other books. Abdomen, there is spasmodic retraction, then sticking pains and the distension of in the hypogastrium. Sticking pains, that is another type of pain which you can get over there, and hypogastrium fullness, that is the one feature which is mentioned. Respiratory, yes, it is very important. Short, irregular breathing at night while lying. Great operation. So there is great operation. Operation means blocking. It is as if smothering over there. Shortness of breath on exposure to the cold air. So cold air aggravates and the patient becomes breathless over there. But these are the features which never defines directly remedy. There are many more. What defines the remedy is the wrist rheumatism. What defines the remedy is rheumatism of short joints, small joints. What defines the remedy is tearing, darting pains. What defines the remedy is modalities, aggravated by motion, aggravated by touch. That is more important about the Actea Spicata. And that's why the extremities features, they are very, very important. Tearing pain in the loins, paralumbar region. There is someone feels that it might be because of renal pain. No, it is not because of renal. It is rheumatic pain which happens to be there in the loins, and specifically in Actea Spicata. Rheumatic pains in small joints, wrist. Ulmus is another remedy. Wrist, fingers, ankles, toes. So small joints of hands and feet, they get involved. There is swelling of the joints from slightest fatigue. So little bit fatigue causes severe inflammation of the joint. The joint becomes red, they become stiff, they becomes very much painful. Wrist swollen, red, worse by any motion. Slightest motion causes the severe pain in the wrist also. Paralytic weakness in the hands. Why paralytic weakness? The pain is so severe that they cannot use the hands. It is not paralytic feature like causticum. There it is neuropathy. Here it is not neuropathy. Here it is because of secondary to the pain, secondary to the affections of the joints. That's why paralytic feeling is there. Paralytic weakness in hands. Lame feeling in arms. Lameness is the weakness which develops due to the pain. Lameness is very characteristic word. So whenever there is a weakness in using the organ, using the extremities due to the pain, it is always called as a lameness. Pain in the knees, sudden lassitude after talking or eating. Even talking causes the weakness. Eating causes the weakness. So the slightest motion affects the joints and weakness in the Actea Spicata. These are extremity features. If one catch and look towards the patient, observe the patient, you get ample patients of this. specifically in rheumatoid arthritis. These are not the features of osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis, you can think about the um, ruta, or you can think about the semicifuga. But here, when rheumatic pains are there, then Actea spicata is a wonderful remedy to be think of. Semicifuga, you have big joints involvement along with muscular rheumatism more commonly. The bellies of long muscles gets involved in semicifuga. That's why it is a very specific remedy for the typewriters or piano players where there is a trapezial myofasciitis. That is semicifuga, that is Actea racemosa. So another species from the same genus is having the rheumatic diathesis, but there the action is specifically on the long muscles, bellies of muscles and big joints. Here the action is on small joints. This comparison one must consider, and colophylum, you should not forget that colophylum is the remedy one should utilize whenever there is shifting type of pains, erratic pains. Small joint affection is there, but not specific to one part. Relationship, compare semicifuga, compare colophylum, compare ledampal. But ledampal, the modalities are very characteristic. Ledampal, it is specifically ascending rheumatism is there. Ledampal is better by absolutely application of ice cold water, ice cold cubes. They relieve the ledampal pains. So ledam is different. Modalities are absolutely different than the Actea spicata. Modality generally it is gouty rheumatism which is very common with the ledam. Stinging pains is very common with the ledampal. But this remedy is absolutely opposite to them. And lastly, he explains about the dose, the third potency. But my suggestion, it's not third, which is useful in practice. My suggestion is always go for 30, go for 200 and repeat. You can get better results depending upon the susceptibility of the person. So this is a wonderful remedy in our day-to-day homeopathic practice where you get the cases of rheumatoid arthritis off and on. Think about the Actea spicata. Compare this remedy with colophylum. My suggestion is to go with the books, open the colophylum, read what are the rheumatic features, then open the ledampal, again see the what are the rheumatic features or extremities, and then you compare. And once it gets fixed in your mind, you cannot forget. So this is a wonderful remedy which has a big significance in practice, and specifically for the students of homeopathy. This is the remedy. The rheumatism is asked and comparison is asked between the colophylum and the Actea spicata or semicifuga and Actea spicata. So that's all for regarding the Actea spicata. If any queries are there, we'll have a chat. Otherwise, we'll conclude. Any question? I think we are going in right direction because we are learning all those remedies which helps in our practice, day-to-day practice. And tomorrow we'll go alphabetically so that we can learn lot of remedies. I think next remedy in the sequence is Agaricus muscarius. We'll learn that Agaricus in tomorrow's session. So that's all for today. Thank you being there, and we'll meet again tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night.